be on the track. Oh, boy.
Captain Saber Bro is here to save the day. Playerism is the antidote to feminism. Her to pay for this shit. No, but I can tell you, women ain't gonna try you if they feel like they can't try you. If they tried you, they felt like it was something else got going on. Worry about you. Worry about you, how you treating me. So make sure you hit that like button. YouTube, how y'all doing? What's going on? Ladies and gentlemen, I am back. I've been gone for a couple weeks, but we back. Got my man, the wonderful King Dingaling himself, Mr. Sterling Cooper in the building. What's going on?
I'm gonna take that nickname. I'll take that nickname any day, man. That's a great nickname.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It's a lovely night out here in Miami. I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah, I'll be down there next month, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll be down in Miami next month.
Well, excellent. Well, you gotta come check out the pad.
Yeah,
have a good time.
Around Christmas time. So
okay, I'm probably gonna be here still. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, yeah, let's get straight into it, man. I don't want to take too much of their time. I don't want to take too much of your time. But anyways, guys, if you in the make sure you guys like the video. Shout out to everybody on Twitch and Facebook. We have my man Sterling Cooper here, and he has an offering for you guys, something that can bring you immense value, pure value. And I want to let him tell you guys all about it.
Thank you, Dre. Well, look, I'm here to shamelessly plug my brand new video course, Dirty Talk 101. And Dre's, me and Dre have actually talked a little bit about some of the concepts I teach in this course before, about dirty talk and the power of dirty talk in the bedroom, power of dirty talk with women, and establishing a good, strong relationship with women. So I had a lot of dudes over the course of the last year ask me to do a course on dirty talk, and I started putting things together, and it kind of evolved into this course, which is not only based around teaching dudes how to talk dirty in their bedroom, how to improve it, how to get better at it, how to perfect their delivery, how to get a deeper voice, and obviously a bunch of different lines and frameworks they can steal. But there's also a bunch of stuff in this course where I've kind of snuck in, where I can teach dudes how to become more confident in the bedroom, how to establish a more dominant frame of mind in the bedroom, and how to establish a more dominant dynamic with their lady in a more what I would call a more healthy dynamic, a more healthy male-female dynamic with the young lady. And it's on this week only. It's on 50% off because it's on pre-order until the 27th of November. And King Dre has a link in the chat there, and he's got a link in the description down below. So if you use his link, you get 50% off until the 27th of November. You save yourself $200. So it's a Black Friday sale. So jump on that and support King Dre in the process. And I've got a bunch of demo clips I can show you guys if you're interested, while we kind of elaborate what I'm going to be teaching you dudes as well.
I got a question, right? How as far as from your experience, right? How important is a guy's verbal game as far as in the bedroom go? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how important would you rate a guy's verbal game?
See, I put it up there as like a 9 for separating yourself from other dudes.
Right.
And in terms of like getting a girl to climax, I put up there like a 9 or an 8, because this thing in between her ears is her biggest sexual organ.
Yes.
Right? I get a lot of dudes. I'll get a lot of dudes asking me about, okay, how do I make a girl squirt? How do I get her to come from eating a pussy, or how do I get her to come from vaginal penetration? And I can teach dudes those things, and that's fine, and that's easy. But it's even easier when you can tap into this thing, get the juices flowing, get her mentally engaged, get her imagination engaged, get her imagination involved, and then she becomes just absolute putty in your hands.
Yes.
And the beautiful thing is, like, you can do so many things with it. So there's an example I would like to give right now is describing future scenarios to her that she might never actually engage in, right? I mean, you and I both know how perverted women are. Like they're extremely twisted. Like when it comes to
scare you sometimes.
Yeah, it's like the average man would be shocked at how perverted a lot of women are in terms of their fantasies and what they want in the bedroom.
Yes.
You know, I don't know that many dudes who want to be like tied up from the rafters and have hot wax poured all over them. You know, but I know plenty of women who would enjoy it.
Right.
So I like to think that guys are more horny, like in terms of they want sex all the time, or they want variety in sex. But women are more perverted in terms of the things they want are dark.
It's intense, more intense.
Yeah, and it comes from this place of just wanting to be taken.
Right. Wanting to be conquered. Now, from your experience, right? From the girls that you've dealt with, you know, in your life, how many say that they've had a guy talk to them versus not? Like, how many guys are actually out here talking that shit to the woman's ear and massaging her brain with the sweet masculine words?
Massaging her brain. I like that. I'm gonna steal that. Well, not that many, because it's one of those things where so many dudes are self-conscious about it. So many dudes are kind of shy and hesitant to say things in the bedroom. There's a whole bunch of dudes who are too shy to even make noise, like moan and groan in the bedroom, let alone whispering some dirty shit in their ear. And I know because when I interviewed female porn stars on my channel, I'll ask them, you know, how does it feel to you? This is a great litmus test for this stuff, by the way. I'll ask them, how does it feel to you if you're in bed with a guy and he makes no noise at all? No moans, no groans, nothing. And their response is always, I feel like he doesn't enjoy me. I feel like he's not enjoying himself. I feel like I'm not attractive to him. I feel insecure. Right? So just by not even making any noise, she feels it creates this really insecure, unenjoyable experience for her. Despite the fact that you have your penis inside of her, she still thinks he doesn't like me, which shows you how insecure women can be, really.
Right.
But on top of that, the kind of guy who can whisper all sorts of perverted shit in her ear and do it congruently, do it smoothly, do it confidently, is the guy that can really separate himself from the pack, you know? And it's this ability to, one of the things I teach dudes in this course is how to take her on kind of a mental journey. And let's say, for example, if I have a girl on this balcony out here or whatever, and I look down at the streets there and I'm like, I'm going to push you up against that tree down there and fuck you in front of all the oncoming traffic. Right? I might be just whispering this in her on the balcony out here, right? Now, what have I done there? I've painted sort of a picture in her head of a future scenario. I might never actually do that to her because we might get thrown in jail or whatever. If we're not careful about it. But it doesn't really matter, because what I've done is I've taken her there emotionally. If I take my time and I describe it with enough detail, then I've taken her there already in her head, at least partially. I've given her a bit of the actual experience in her head.
Right.
And so you can start playing around with all of your perverted, twisted, dark fantasies and all of her perverted, twisted, dark fantasies purely through oration, purely through your verbal game. Gotcha. And give her all these kinds of experiences and ratchet up her sexual experience and get her dripping wet in the comfort of your own living room or the comfort of your own bedroom, right? So you can separate yourself very, very easily.
Right.
With how creative you can get with your language.
Right. Let me ask you another question before we get into. I know you said you wanted to show some slides or whatever.
Yeah.
But how much of it, is because you said like a lot of guys don't really talk that shit to their woman, right? How much of it do you think is fear versus ignorance of not knowing that a woman really wants to is that perverted? Like, do you think it's more so guys are fearful of being awkward, or more so them just not knowing that women actually like this type of shit. Because I know what it was for me before I started doing it. Like when I was younger, I know what it was for me. Like, but let me hear you. Let me see.
Well, I'd say it's probably like 60-70% ignorance.
Yeah, that's what it was for me. Like I thought like when I was young, like I knew chicks was like, freaky and shit, but I didn't know like they was like that. Like, once I started to, and it was an older lady who like was teaching me a lot of shit. So I was like, word,
it's always the older lady.
The old devious cougars, just fucking demons, and they just poison young men. So it's their faults. So, but yeah. So I just didn't know until I started to get older. I was like, oh, okay, But
yeah, they'll really like, and because the older women aren't afraid to like ask for what they want, because they're past their prime. They're shooting for the fences,
they don't have fences, they don't have that. They're a lot more older women, a lot more aggressive and more vocal. It's almost like I ain't got time to be playing around. Do it like this and do it like this. Versus a younger chick is like, you got to figure this bitch out.
Exactly, like the clock's running out. We got to move.
Right. But yeah, so you want
to? It's that ignorance. You're right. It's like, because a lot of guys are. I mean, probably not so much the guys who watch your channel, right? But there's a whole lot of men out there who aren't watching your channel,
right? Who
still kind of perceive women to be these delicate, innocent princess types. The kind of woman you'd see in a romantic comedy, the kind of woman you'd see in a Disney movie or some bullshit. And they're not like that, man. I mean, for me, one of the big revelations in my early 20s was reading the book My Secret Garden by Nancy Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a book, if anyone's familiar with it. She was a New York Times journalist, and she put an ad in the New York Times. She wanted women to write in their most deepest, darkest sexual fantasies and do it anonymously. And then she just collected all these stories, and she compiled them into a book, and that book is My Secret Garden. And I read this in my early 20s, and it just blew my mind, because I was the same. I was like a lot of men. I didn't have a clue that women were this perverted. And I started reading this stuff, and you'll as you go through this book, you notice that there's a lot of, shall we say, grape fantasies in there, a lot of consensual, non-consent stuff, a lot of exhibitionist stuff, a lot of humiliating, degrading stuff in that book. And these are women self-confessing a lot of their deepest, darkest fantasies. Now, here's the thing: most women would never actually want to act out any of those fantasies, but they're still up here somewhere, and that is fine, because we can still tap into that through language, right?
Right. Yeah, I was talking to this one girl, one of my homies, and she was telling me, it's a long time ago. She was like, yeah, she fantasized about like getting trains ran on her and shit. I'm like, word? Like I was a lot younger, right? So I'm like, damn, for real? Because back then, like over here in our culture, at least, that was like shunned upon. Like if a girl, it's like, oh, you slut. Like it was like that type of shit.
Yep.
But after I taught her, I would ask more women about that, because she like shocked me, and I like most of the women that I talked to kind of affirm what she was saying, said that they felt the same way, but in fear of like being judged and stuff, they never really went through with it. But they do fantasize about shit like that,
Exactly. And that's
crazy.
And that's the thing. So you don't have to, you don't have to take your woman and run a train on her. You don't have to take your woman and do kinds of exhibitionist shit with her. Hey, some people want to do that. Hey, if you want to do that, that's your choice. It's your life. Go right ahead.
Right.
But if you don't want to do that, you can still tap into that part of her psyche, and you can still tap into that dark side of female sexual nature, which really fires them up. It really gets them going. It gets them coming back again and again and again for more. And it's something that I've got. I mean, I think we've talked about this before. This idea, like, I've got dudes asking me if like this kind of language, this sort of more perverted, dirty talking stuff, is something you would use, say, sexting before you meet up with a girl. And I personally don't think this is the kind of language you want to use before you've had sex with a girl. Like,
yeah.
You do it when you're having sex with a girl,
Right.
and after you've had sex with a girl. But I would keep the mystery
Right.
before I've actually met up with her. Push for the meet up and get her face to face with you.
Yeah, because it's something about like even if a woman from my experience, even if a woman like makes up her mind that she gonna fuck you or whatever, she gonna have sex with you before she does it. She can come to the date already saying, "Okay, I'm gonna have sex with him," but you just bringing it up and you talking about it will throw her off. Like,
Yep.
it like kills the mood. So yeah, don't be talking about that shit. Just
It
when
makes
you're
you come
doing
across as like you come across too thirsty.
right.
Come across a bit too needy. You don't have a lack of options, a lack of abundance, and it's like,
Right.
and it ruins the mystery. She still wants that little bit of like, does he love me? Does he love me not? Like, does he?
Yeah, the whole playing the whole game, the whole
Yeah.
seduction, it kills the seduction process, which is
Exactly.
from my experience, the whole seduction, the whole game, the pursuit, that's a part of the tension, like building the tension. And when you just go out, you on a date, and you just start saying all this crazy shit, I think from my experience, it kills the mood.
Exactly.
Not necessarily
I
my
agree.
experience, because I ain't never been like on no crazy shit like that. But I got homies that would do stuff like that, and from coaching and shit like that. So
Yeah. So I always tell guys to like keep reserve this kind of stuff for like she's in your apartment. You're in a place where you can have sex, like your living room, your bedroom, whatever like that. And that's the time you can use this stuff. It's really powerful during foreplay, and it's even more powerful during the act of sex.
right,
And then once you've sealed the deal, okay, well then you can take it and apply it in before you set up the next date. Okay, now you can start sexting with it, and now you can get her fired up and ready before she comes over for
right.
date 2, and then she walks in the door and you're ripping each other's clothes off. That's fine. You can use this as an amplification tool,
Right.
but being cautious with it before you've actually sealed the deal. I would agree. It's like it's not. I don't think that's the correct play.
Right. All right, you want to get into some slots, some previews?
Yeah, let's start with.
Shout out to everybody. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Shout out to Gavin and the greatest. If y'all in here, y'all ain't. I know y'all tuned in. I know when y'all stop talking in the chat, y'all tuned in. But press 1. I need to see who all in here tonight. I like to see who watching me. I don't like y'all secret watching me and spying on me and shit. So make yourself be known.
Spying on you.
Yeah, they be spying on me.
Bunch of feds in the chat.
Yeah. Press 1. Who all in here, man? Press 1 if you're enjoying the show. Jeremy, what's up? I knew you was gonna be here. Jay Unreleased. But yeah, y'all go get your lotion and shit. Go ahead.
Don't get your lotion because it's me on the fucking video. And if anyone in the chat has has some questions for later on, I'm more than happy to answer any questions either on this topic or unrelated to this topic as well. If anyone's got any questions,
yeah. So if you got questions, just reserve them till we get done, and then we can have him answer any questions that you have about what he's going to show you or just anything in general.
Yeah, anything sexual. I've got the clip should be up here in your StreamYard now.
All right. There we go. Let's see.
Yeah, there we go.
Full screen it.
Oh
man,
look,
crazy.
Totally, it's PG, man. You can't see anything. You can't actually see anything, so you're totally fine, right? But what do you expect from me, man? This is what I teach. So I want guys to pay attention. So I'm gonna it's only like a 50-second clip, but we're gonna watch it and then we're gonna break it down afterwards, and I'm gonna break down like what exactly am I doing during this 50. This is 53 seconds of a much larger clip in the program. So. It's a quick listen. So I'm gonna repeat this back in case you can't hear it because I'm whispering in here. So I've said to her, imagine if that was some other girl's pussy you could taste. I bet you'd fucking love that, wouldn't you? Tasting some motherfucking pussy off my fingers. Love tasting some motherfucking pussy off my dick. What if I just fucking tied you up in that corner over there? Made you watch me fuck somebody else. Pulled my dick out of her. And used your fucking mouth to clean it off. That's all you're fucking good for, isn't it? Just a little pile of fucking holes for me to use. Little pile of fucking holes for me to abuse. My personal little cum dumpster.
Yes.
Say it.
Your cum dumpster.
All right. So there's a few things going on in that clip. Let's just stop sharing that for a second. So Dre's gone off to get some tissue paper or something. Well, he's out of the room. I'm gonna break it down for you guys. So basically, at the very, very beginning there, right? I'm describing like her tasting other girls' pussy juices off my fingers. I'm describing what would it taste like to taste another girl's pussy juices off my dick, whatever. I'm describing to her what would it feel like. Imagine if you were in that corner watching me do this to another woman, right? So what that does in the context of like my relationship with that girl is it's starting to embed this frame of she gets off seeing me with another woman, or she gets off on sharing me with another woman. And I'm eroticizing that because she's aroused and she's enjoying herself and it's a sexual act. So I'm subtly, well, maybe not so subtly, embedding this frame in her subconscious during the act of, right? And then you'll notice at the very, very end of that clip as well, we go into some more like perverted, kind of degrading, almost humiliating kind of language, where I start to call her like my personal little cum dumpster, and I get her to repeat that back to me. Well, what that's doing is, again, that is more of an extreme end of the sort of stuff that I teach in this course. But you can build your way up to that if that's where you want to go, and if that's the kind of thing that your woman particularly eroticizes, because there is a rather large segment of the population of women that actually do eroticize that kind of very, very extreme language.
Yeah, that was heavy. They ain't saying that they over there jacking off, man.
Well, no jacking off. None of that shit. None of that. Jacking off too much. You're here to learn.
Okay. Man. Yeah, I was listening to it. I had got up, but I was listening to it. I was like, man, it's some wild shit. I'm about to get this, man. I'm about to buy it myself.
But there's a reason that, like, especially that kind of more extreme language at the second half stuff, where I'm like, well, let me backtrack for a second. Dirty talk is so much more powerful than dudes think it is. So yeah, it's a tool for like eroticizing a girl. Yeah, it's a tool for ramping up her sexuality, ramping up her experience, ramping up her emotions. But it's also, like I said, it's also this tool for subtly embedding frames in your relationship and embedding frames in the male-female dynamic.
Right.
And I think we've talked about this before, Dre.
Yes.
Where it's the subconscious is like super malleable during the act of sex.
I believe whoever controls the bedroom controls the relationship. Whoever dominates the bedroom dominates the relationship. So yeah, you gotta talk that shit, massage the brain, and you want to, you do it when when a woman is having sex with you, she's at her most vulnerable, because she's fully conquered at that point.
Yep.
And that's when you want to plant your seeds. It's King Dingaling.
It's exactly that's it. It's planting seeds. It's a good way of looking at it, like dropping these little seeds in the brain, and then they start to just subtly grow over time, right?
Yeah, this shit is powerful. This is the powerful stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know about everybody else who's watching this, but I personally like to have multiple women at the same time. So for me, that is a very, very useful seed for me to be planting in her head, like this idea of her getting off on watching me with another chick is a very, very useful seed. I mean, you can plant whatever you want. It's up to you. And I mentioned that at the end of this course. It's like work backwards. Like, what kind of dynamic and relationship do you want with a woman? What kind of frames do you want in your relationship with her? And then work backwards from there. Right. And then we can start to plant different seeds and stuff. And this little demo I just showed is from a bigger clip that I put at the very end of my course. I go through all the theory, I break down everything I do, and I teach you how to do it all. And then at the very, very end, I give a rather long demonstration clip of me doing exactly that, where I, from the very start, I start very, very slowly, and I take her through this roller coaster of emotions, and we get to the point at the end of this 15-minute demonstration where I bring her to orgasm by like basically just whispering shit in her ear and lightly playing with her clitoris. I'm not having sex with her. I'm not using a vibrator or a Hitachi or anything off camera because you'd hear that. I'm just sitting there lightly playing with her clit and whispering dirty shit in her ear. And it's majority of it is the dirty shit in her ear, which is actually bringing her to orgasm. And that's why I did it as a kind of like a softcore demo like that to prove how powerful this stuff is. I could have shot a demonstration clip and done it, during the act of sex, and it wouldn't have been as powerful, I think, to show the true impact that words can have on a woman's mind. So
yeah, it's more, in my opinion, it's more powerful than sex. Guys think that it's, if you just fucking good at it, it's deeper than that, man. You got to get the brain. Once you get the brain, the guy who get the brain, he has the woman. He's the king in a woman's eyes. So if you got both together, then
you got it.
You the man.
Then you got it.
Yeah,
the other thing I'll say here is like, women. It's important for dudes to understand that women don't fuck down; they only fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go around fucking dudes who they perceive to be lower value than them.
Right.
So understand that if she's having sex with you guys somewhere, maybe not consciously, but at least unconsciously, she thinks that you're better than her on some level, right? Because she wouldn't have submitted to you in the bedroom in the first place if she didn't think that. Now, you might convince her otherwise later on by being a simp and fucking up or something, by fucking up your friend in your relationship. You can convince her that you aren't better than her, and that's a fuck up. But when the thing I'll mention here with the sort of degrading, humiliating language that I throw in there and I talk about in this course as well, what that does is it brings that from her unconscious mind to her conscious mind. This idea of you being quote unquote better than her, higher value than her, however you want to frame it. When you can use more degrading, humiliating language, you are bringing that to her conscious awareness because you're making her say it, or you're making her hear you say stuff like that, and that really reinforces that you're the one you're the king, you're the one on the pedestal. Because so many dudes are running around putting women on a goddamn pedestal.
Right.
It's about time we correct some of this.
Yes, because they out of hand nowadays. It's wild. It's getting bad, man.
Yeah.
But so now with the course, is it like, how long is the entire presentation?
The entirety of the course goes for just over 3 hours.
Ooh, so that's good.
Yeah, I break it down. I try to make my stuff as like I try to cater it for like, I start off slow and I build up. And I start off slow and I wrap up kind of quickly towards the end. So I get the foundations in for guys who are brand new and beginning and kind of new to this stuff, and then I make sure I get stuff in there that's suitable for dudes who are more experienced.
Got you. Yeah, I take the same approach. Kind of make it as far as the information like that I put in my courses is advanced, but I try to do it in a way that the person who's a virgin can get it and understand. I actually got a guy who lost his virginity. He got my course a couple weeks ago and lost his fucking virginity. Shout out to my man. I'm gonna try to get him on here Saturday, but
love it.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm actually about to get this. So just so you know, because I want to see if I could put some tricks in my bag.
He wants to see what we're playing around with here.
yeah. Nah, I want to get some. See, because I'm the game expert. I could do my thing in the sack. I can do my thing in the bedroom. I'm not a slouch. I could talk that shit.
Not a slouch.
But why not? Why not learn from Mr. King Dingling himself? If I can learn some new tricks, I'm gonna learn some new tricks, and you guys should learn some new tricks as well. So I'm telling you, go pick the shit up. My man King Dingling. Go, if you don't believe me, go watch him himself. He's on there
Yeah,
doing
well,
what
you're fine.
know
You're
where to go. I
fine.
can't
You're fine, man.
I can't tell you where to go on here, but use your mind and you can see he's the truth. You want to answer how much? Jeremy says how much?
Yeah. So the full price of the course is $399, but for this week it's 50% off. So if you get it, you use King Dre's link. If you get it before the 27th of November, you get it for $197. So you get it for 50% off. Save yourself $200 as long as you get it before the 27th of November.
Yeah, that's a good deal. So y'all better jump on that. Y'all better jump on that.
I think True Prodigy says he's got a question. If you want to drop a question in the chat at any time, True Prodigy, you go right ahead, man.
Okay, True Prodigy, go ahead with your question. If any of you guys have questions, just ask them.
I think T-Bone Slay Dog had one as well earlier on as well. If you wanted to ask one,
I don't know. He probably blocked on my end because I don't see him.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I don't see him. I blocked the trolls ASAP.
There's also like a few things I've snuck into this course which guys can use to help like seal the deal more easily on dates as well. And it's this idea that I've been playing around with this idea for like something like 8+ years whenever I go on dates. It's this idea called of sexual framing. So everybody has a different aspect of their personality that they sort of let out around different people. So like you're a different person around your mother to the kind of guy you are around your boss to the kind of guy you are around your best friends. You know, you've got slightly different personalities around these different people. And women are no different. Like women have a certain personality for the guy they put in the friend zone, and they have a certain personality for the guy they fuck. Right. Mm-hmm. And so the idea of sexual framing, which I talk about in this course, is all it is you're eliciting these aspects of her personality which you want to elicit, which are going to lead towards sex. So an example of that might be something like a frame would be her being the sexual aggressor. And so how, in a way you might implement something like that is deliberately misinterpreting something she says as her coming onto you, as her being sexually aggressive towards you, right? And just making a joke out of it, right? That's a very, very basic example. Very basic example. But what that does is it starts to, and you that's just one example of a bunch of different frames that you can insert on a date with a chick that make it so much more smooth and natural for you guys to then proceed to the bedroom on that same first date. But that's a little bit in because I had a few guys asking if this is like if this kind of course is not only going to help in the bedroom but help me get to the bedroom. And there's actually a module in the middle of the course which does help you move things to the bedroom a bit easier. And I also talk about in this course, I talk about the power of voice notes at length as well. I'm a big proponent of using your voice over the medium of text or Instagram by just dropping voice notes because it's so much more powerful than just basic text. You know,
I'm gonna ask you a question that guys always ask me, and it's not necessarily in reference to sex, because I know a lot of these guys try to act like they players, but they in relationships and they got women they love and all of that shit. So not a lot of you guys are watching, you imaginary players. But a lot of guys ask me when they find my information, they want to know, is it retroactive against the women that they already dealing with? You know, can they, when they come to me, they say, hey man, I'm just learning this shit. Do I have to scrap the project and start over? Or is this retroactive? Can I, can I go back and reestablish myself as a certain type of man? Can I reestablish this thing? Now with a woman, let's say the guy's been with a woman for 5 years and he hasn't, they don't have that type of bond, or they don't have that type of dynamic in their shit. Can he, how do you think will he be able to, take the information and then apply it to something that's already in place, or is it best for him to just go out and get new conquests? Right. And you understand what I'm saying?
I understand your question. Yeah, it's you don't have to scrap it, like you said. You don't have to scrap it to try and play around with this stuff. It is the longer your relationship has been, and in particular, the longer it's been in a bad dynamic, the more work you're going to have to do to undo that. Right. So like a dude who's been in a 5-year relationship and it's maybe it's a sexless relationship, for example, right? Or one where there's like no passion. He has more work to do than the dude who's taking a girl out on the first date,
Right.
right? Because that guy's starting with a blank canvas, whereas this guy has to go along with the magic eraser and try to work things back again. But the stuff I do talk about, so the beautiful thing about using dirty talk for these purposes is because if you can get her into an aroused state of mind, she's a lot more susceptible to suggestion. So, and I give guys, we talked about like the more extreme end of dirty talk with like humiliating, degrading stuff, and then like commanding her and this sort of stuff. But I teach guys a few really basic things to start with to amplify her sexual experience, like describing sensations, like getting her to imagine future scenarios, which are going to be basically well received across the entirety of the female population. Like there's no woman that has a soul who is going to be going to get angry or be turned off by the notion of, say, if I'm playing with her clitoris and saying, I can feel how turned on you are by how engorged your clitoris is right now. Or if I'm fingering her, I can say, I can feel how much you're enjoying this by how wet you are right now. That's just a basic example of me getting her to pay attention to something she's already feeling, like describing a sensation she's already feeling. There's nothing offensive about that. I'm not calling her a dirty slut. I'm not, saying she's my good little girl or whatever, if I've never said that before. So we start there, and then we get her used to and introduce the idea of us saying dirty shit in the bedroom, and then we can baby step it.
That's why I asked. So now you guys can, for you guys that's in relationships, you can get this shit, get this program, and he can teach you from the ground up. You can go in and you can start from the ground up. You ain't got to be like me and come in there and say some wild shit off the rip. You can start slow. If you're scared of your girl, say, and he teach you how to do all that. So that's why I asked that.
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a good question because you don't want to be scared of your girl. You don't want to be you don't want to be in that kind of dynamic. And if you're here watching Dre stuff, you realize that there's probably a problem in your relationship and you're trying to fix it. And that's good. And this is one of the, in my opinion, like the bedroom is like it's the biggest source of problems in relationships in one way, and it's the best way to fix them too. Because a lot of dudes when a guy has a problem in his relationship, typically it's like his woman isn't sucking his dick, or they're not having sex very much, or the sex is not passionate. It's if they're having a bad relationship, that is typically, amongst other things, that is typically always there.
Right.
Basically always. Like you very rarely get like, oh, my wife is nagging me, but she sucks my dick up.
Right.
Like, it pretty much never happens.
Right.
So there's always some problem in the bedroom, and that's why I like to look at the bedroom as a good place to start to try and fix this stuff, as long as there is at least some passion going on there. Like,
right.
Because then
you can get her to sleep with you. Yeah. If you can do it right in the bedroom, it'll fix a lot of your issues outside of the bedroom, man. If you
then she starts seeing you again as that guy that the guy she fell in love with to start with. She starts seeing you again as that, oh, this is why I love this man. This is why I'm with this guy, because he can rock my fucking socks off.
Right. Right. Now, what do you guys say for, because I ain't gonna lie, I used to think like this when I was younger, right? Like for the guys who want to keep their wife, and I know this train of thought, a lot of guys think like this, because I used to think like this again when I was younger. Like they want their wife to be this, their main wife to be like this, look at her like this precious type of thing. And they almost don't want to take it there with their wives. That's why they cheat and they, you know what I'm saying? They cheat and they don't want to, they cheat and they got hoes that they, side chicks that they dominate with and they degrade them and all that shit. What do you say for guys who have that fear of taking it there with their main chick, or they may, put her on this pedestal, not in a simpy way, but just like, oh, that's my queen, or I don't want to degrade her because this is my wife, or for when I was younger, when I was real young, like if you was like my main girl, I wouldn't bust a nut on her face. Like I thought like that was too great and for my main girl. This was before I knew how perverted they fucking were. But you know, a lot of guys still have that type of train of thought, you know, to where they won't even bust a nut on their face, or you know what I'm saying? So
well, they're missing out for a start.
yeah.
Come on, man. Like that's the fun part. Well, if she's the one you're spending most of your time with, you want to do all the fun shit with her.
Yeah, right. It's a twisted logic, but a lot of us used to think like that. Like,
no, I understand the logic.
You reserve that the you know, all the dirty shit for your side hoes. You treat them like shit, and not your girl. That's how I used to think when I was young, like in my early 20s and shit.
And I imagine that is guys will also have that frame of mind if like she's the mother of your kids, for example.
Right.
Like if she's you know your wife or she's the mother of your kids, like I don't want to call her a filthy fucking whore. She's the mother of my kid.
Right.
But here's the thing. Like you're not. It's not like you're doing this stuff in public.
Right.
Else has to know. It's not like anyone else. It's no one else's business what you two do in the privacy of your own bedroom, and that's what makes it even more powerful and more special, because she still has those perverted fantasies. No matter how much of a princess you treat her, like she still has that dark, twisted, perverted shit going on up here.
Yeah, you have to provide that.
So you might as well provide it as her guy. Show her why you're in charge. She ain't gonna like. It's not like she's gonna friggin'. She loves you and she's into you and she's attracted to you and she's obsessed with you. She ain't gonna friggin'. Oh no, he jizzed on my face. Or oh no, he called me his. That's a really key distinction in language too. My naughty little slut, right? Like you're my naughty little slut. Right. That's a very good distinction too. If she's your girl, labeling her that way, it's like you allow her that freedom, because if she's loyal to you and basically like exclusive to you, well, through using this kind of language and tapping into this perverted side of sex, you allow her to still explore and engage in that all the variety of sex and all these different fantasies that she can't engage in because she's exclusive to you, right? So you still allow her to have that, but with you, and that's why I can absolutely, like, maybe I'm the exception to the rule, but I can jizz in a girl's face, call her like all kinds of retarded shit, and then still want to, like, after she's washed my jizz off of her face, I still want to hold her later, like cuddle her later that night. I can do that, but I don't see. It's because I don't literally think she's a useless cum dumpster. Right. You know, I'm just calling her that because I know it's something that's going to fucking get into her head and turn her on. Right. You know, but I think
so you separate.
You have to be able to separate that.
Right. Right. Yeah, that was what I'm telling you, man. When I was younger, I used to think, but I had to learn. You know, as I got older, I learned, like, you know, you got to give them what they want, man. If you're gonna be that guy in their life, you have to give them what they want. But I remember, you know, a time where we would, even amongst my friends, we would, like, you know, you do the wife, and not, I wasn't married or no shit like that, but you know, the main, you don't turn your main chick out. That's what we would say. We don't turn your main chick out. You know, you do that with the rest of the hoes, but you know, see, I know a lot of guys won't. They scared to act shit like that, so I asked it for them.
See, this is where I would totally disagree with that statement of, like, you don't turn. Like, I absolutely would turn, like, and I do turn my main chick out, because I want, if I'm spending most of my time with that main chick, I want to make sure I'm doing all of the cool shit with her.
Right.
You know, because I'm doing it with her the most. You know. Right.
So, that's right. I had to learn. That's something I learned as I got older. But I'm telling you, when I was young, that's how we used to think. Like, man, we smut the hoes and we treat our girls, you know, special. And I just asked, because I know it's some guys that's probably thinking like that. You got to turn your wife out too, just to let you guys.
And you can still treat her special after the fact. Like, you can still treat her nice, and you don't have to treat her like a complete whore outside the bedroom. You know, she can still be the mother of your kids, and you can still love her. For example,
I think that was the problem. We didn't know how to separate.
You can separate those two things.
You jizz on her face and treat her like a slut, and go buy some ice cream after. Hold hands and shit.
What I say, stick it in her ass and then buy her flowers. Like, that's romance.
Right. You got any, like, another previews, or
Well, look, I made you blush at the last one, so I'm like, I don't know which one I want to show you now. Let's go with.
I think that's the one I saw. I saw earlier when I clicked on
that one earlier. Yeah. Which one was this one? I have that Imagine one. That is bisexuality. That's yours. Okay, this one. Let's play this one because I think you and I have talked about this before.
All right.
This example. Is it permission? Yeah, permission. Yeah, let's rewind that one. All right. That's down there in the StreamYard.
Okay. That's it.
Okay, cool. So again, if you guys can't quite hear this, turn up your volume a little bit. This doesn't go for that one, but I'm going to break it down afterwards. What we're doing here. More intense. You can tell it is because your clit's getting bigger. That's getting so fucking hard right now. You wouldn't fucking dare come without my permission, now would you?
No.
Of course you wouldn't. This is my fucking pussy. I get the statement, pussy cunt. Understand? So, what we're doing there, right? The two real key things that I dropped in sort of towards the end there was like, you wouldn't dare come without my permission, now would you? That's the first one, and the second one was, this pussy belongs to me, basically. And those are two really useful frames. Again, the first one, you wouldn't. I say this shit to like fucking every girl I have sex with as well, which is like, if any girls are watching this, they'll be like, that motherfucker, he said that thing to me. But the idea of you wouldn't dare come without my permission, would you? Is a really cool, fun question to drop to a girl because it establishes this frame of I'm in control of her orgasm. Like daddy gets to decide when you come, which is a really it's a power dynamic. It's a very fun dom sub power dynamic that anyone can add and introduce into their relationship. And it gets her in the frame of mind of doing what you tell her to do, of you being in control. Right? And then the second frame we dropped in there, which is this pussy belongs to me, it implies that I own her sexually. Like she is now mine. She is now exclusive to me. I own that pussy. I do what the hell I want with it. It doesn't belong to anybody else. It belongs to me. You know? And that's if there's a couple of frames that I think would be useful in most relationships, it would be she does what you tell her to do, and she's exclusive to you. She's loyal to you, basically.
Right.
Like those are, but most people don't think of dirty talk this way. So I'm trying to teach guys to like think of it as this bigger picture than what it actually than it's just purely for getting her aroused.
It's when she's her most open.
Yeah.
It's when she's her most vulnerable, man.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, the hunter, you gotta get them when they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
So you wanna answer some questions?
Yeah. I think I've seen a question in here somewhere. You got to be Don DeMarco. You got to be the absolute nastiest with the wife. I like that, Don. Do you have a different approach with certain races or women, or is it pretty much universal? For me, it's universal, man. I don't fuck around with like race play or anything like that. That's not something I'm gonna fuck with. Some people do that. It's not my cup of tea, man. But it's like I've used this stuff on like white chicks, Latin chicks, like black chicks, Asian chicks. Like I mean, if they speak English, they can understand what I'm saying, you know?
Yeah.
And so the shit sticks. I would say it's funny is that if you have a foreign accent, it's a superpower with this kind of stuff. Because I remember when I was in Brazil years ago, I was seeing this girl for like a month when I was in Brazil, and she didn't speak any English at all. And I spoke a little bit of Portuguese. And I remember one night she stopped me and she's like, I want you to speak English to me in bed, like while we're having sex. And so I just started speaking, like I was dirty talking to her in English. And then she was getting off on it, but I knew she couldn't understand a word I was saying. So eventually I just started throwing around like stuff like, oh, do my dishes, do my laundry, like cook for me, clean for me. I just started saying shit that wasn't dirty talk in English because she couldn't understand a fucking thing I was saying, and she was
Right.
she was still getting off on it because of the vocal tonality I was using, and she just assumed it was erotic. And I'm like, so there you go.
Boy.
That's what you can do with like women of different races and ethnicities and languages.
You know, I think you know, in America there's this misconception that black women are more aggressive. You can't say that to Puerto Rican women; they'll curse you out. It's all bullshit, bro. You know, I think that he was asking along that, like, you know, there's no I'm trying to be YouTube friend, but this is a bitch is a bitch, bro. At the end of the day, no matter where they come from, they have to all the same makeup, and they all want, you know, generally want a man who can dominate them and you know, be assertive and, you know, borderline aggressive,
Like,
and
when-
lead
when
them. So don't be scared of the misconceptions. Oh, Puerto Rican women are more spicier and they have attitudes, or Dominican women have a little bit more attitude. You can't be like them. They the nastiest, bro. Black women you can't be like that with black women. Don't worry about that, bro. Don't be scared of that shit.
Whenever I hear a guy say that, there's two thoughts that go through my head. Either one, he's trying to do some of this stuff like in public around her friends and stuff, and might embarrass her a little bit. Then they might resort to that like stereotype and be a bit more feisty, right? But in private, if there's a, you know, spicy Puerto Rican woman is backlashing him for like trying to talk dirty in the bedroom, well, that tells me that she doesn't really like.
She don't like you like that.
She's not into him that much,
Right?
Because she'll do that to me. She'll be. I mean, she won't do that to me. She'll be fine. She'll be fine with me whispering this shit in her ear.
Right.
You know, it's. Yeah, I don't really buy those. Like maybe like those dynamics. Like it's kind of like a caricature of what you would see on a telenovela, like the sassy South American chick or whatever.
Right.
But that tends to be reserved for like in public. You know, if you try to like act all. From what I've seen, at least, if a dude tries to act all machismo in public and she tries to call him out and act a bitch, that means she didn't respect the dude.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Don't let race hold you back. If you got a white chick, black chick, Asian bitch, green bitch, French bitch, talk dirty to her. You know what I'm saying?
Especially the French bitch.
Right. Yeah. That story, that's a trip. You were saying all type of weird shit, and she was just like,
dude. And I wasn't like, so I did that like 8 years ago, or something, and I was on a porn set. It was a couple of years ago, and there was another dude on the set, a guy called Manuel Ferreira. He's this French guy, very, very popular, and he's very popular with the ladies over here in America because he speaks French to them during sex. And these LA girls don't know how to fucking speak French. They got no idea what he's saying.
Right.
And so he was telling me the same thing. One day he was on, and they were filming it, and he was just having a laugh, and he was telling this girl to make him a sandwich while he's like, you know, going away. And because she's some dumb LA bitch, she's like, oh yes, speak French. And she didn't have a clue. But here's the funny part: the company he was shooting for, that is based in Montreal. It's like based in Quebec in French Canada.
Right.
So the editors of the people who are editing the porno do speak French.
Right.
So as they're cutting the clip up, they're like, "What the fuck's Manuel asking them to make him a sandwich for?" As they're editing the goddamn thing.
Right. That's crazy. I need to learn. I want to try that, man. I'm gonna go somewhere and try that shit. Like, yeah.
The South America, it goes down quite well.
Right.
They like it, especially they can't speak any English. They're pretty big fans of it.
Hey, let me get the super chat. Shout out to Shining Dwarf for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Do you guys have any more questions for Mr. Sterling? Mr. Sterling, I know you guys are ultra players, but this is some good shit. So and make sure you go get Dirty Talk 101. The 50% off sale ends on November 27th, correct?
That's correct. So
correct.
Save yourself $200 this week only. So
yeah, go get that. It's important that you the reason why you need to learn how to do this is because this is the gateway to a woman's soul. You, if because this is when she's at her most vulnerable, right? In a pleasurable way. Of course, they're vulnerable in all type of other ways when they're mad, but in a pleasurable way for when your seeds can bear good fruit. When you want to plant your seeds on good fertile ground, is when she's vulnerable in this pleasurable way. This is the time to do this type of shit. And a lot of you guys, when your girls are cheating on you and shit, he talking that Sterling shit in her ear. Because you ain't doing it. And she coming back to you, and you wonder why she can't let him go. Because he telling her, this mine, you mine. And for real, we do stuff like that to y'all. So you have to learn this shit, man. Like for real. So
no, I couldn't have said it better myself, right? Look, I would never sleep with somebody else's missus. I would never. How dare you accuse me of something like that?
You do more than you do. You do more than you know. More than you know, because a lot of these chicks be lying. A lot of them, they all got somebody, man. They got somebody who every time you bone a chick, just think in your head, somebody is gonna be mad at me. Somebody will be mad at her for doing this. You know, it's just, unfortunately. Now stay away from married women, but the point is, fellas, this is how you get to the one of the most effective ways to get to a woman's soul and to control the dynamic outside, in a good way, and lead the dynamic, and so she can be submissive and you can more susceptible to following your program is when you do this when she's in this state during sex. This is really important. It's not about like sounding cool and who's the king, bitch, and you little slut. It's not about sounding cool. It's very effective at, number one, getting her off so she can have a good time, and number two, planting your seeds of dominance. You understand? Yeah. So
you got to think a few steps ahead. It's like there's a reason that we do all this. It's not just, like you said, it's not just for your own ego. It's not just to sound cool.
Yeah, he's trying to sound cool and shit. Yeah, it's a method to the madness.
There's a reason to this. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Well, look, man. We're coming up on like an hour. I don't want to keep you for much longer, but you guys have basically had a sneak preview of the kind of stuff I'm teaching in this course and how I break it down. And if you want to support King Dre's channel, then use his link over here where's my hand? Over here in the chat, and it's in the description down below. You can support him and you can save yourself $200 at the same time, as long as you get the course before November 27th.
All right, go click that link. Use my link right there, and go show your support and learn some game. This shit will help you out, and it'll help your situations. It'll help your relationships tremendously. Like don't underestimate the power of this type of shit right here. So, But all right, man, I appreciate you for stopping through.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
All right, I'll be down there next month. We can link up and shoot the breeze or whatever. For everybody else, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I know I've been on break. I will be back on Saturday. So we'll kick things off again on Saturday, and the good ism is coming back. I was only gone for 2 weeks. I know y'all missed me, but the good ism is coming back to taint YouTube with this playerism. I'll catch you guys later. Shout out to my man Sterling. I see you later, brother. Appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you.